Fire Call, the fire safety show with Division Chief Jim Sedaris.
Hi, my name is Division Chief Jim Sedaris, and you're watching Fire Call. This is a show from Sioux Falls Fire Rescue about how Sioux Falls Fire Rescue operates. We answer a lot of your questions, and if we do answer your question, we'll send you a genuine Sioux Falls Fire Rescue t-shirt. But that's only for the good questions and only the ones that we answer on our show. So take some time, sit back, turn off your BlueBerry, turn off your cellularized phone, spend some time in the world of Sioux Falls Fire Rescue and see how we operate. Our first question comes from Fargo, North Dakota. Dex writes this question, and he wants to know what kind of traits we're looking for in a firefighter. Well, Dex, we're looking for a lot of things, and we're looking for 4 key traits that we look for in all our firefighters. And those 4 key traits are integrity, commitment, honor, and courage. When we talk about integrity, we're trying to say, hey, lives are on the line with this job. We have to really be able to count on you to tell us exactly what's happening. So we have to have people that can size up. We have to have people that can be really honest, and that all fits in that integrity component. Because of what we have going on here, and we're dealing with all kinds of different operations, we really have to have people that are just cream of the crop with their integrity. That's a key point with us. Just like you come in, lay your gear down, and these stations, if you lay $20 on your bunk in the morning, there'll be $20 there at night. Probably be all in pennies, but it will be $20. Another thing we have to look at is commitment. We ask all our firefighters, are you committed to the organization? Are you committed to yourself? You have to always stay educated here. You have to be always learning new skills. You have to be committed to responding and helping people in times of need. And that commitment is a key component of what we're looking for a firefighter. Do you trust me? Do I trust you? How committed are you to all of us? So we're looking at commitment. Third is going to be honor. We have to look at our tradition of 100 years before us, all those firefighters, that we're honoring that tradition of firefighting. And we have to honor the people coming after us. When we look at honor, we have to also be thinking, are you going to do the right thing at the right time? We can't have people backing out because they're a little unsure of themselves. And the last thing is courage. This job is not one where you're going to be sitting at a desk and you're going to be just moving paper from one side of the desk to the other. We're going to be asking people to do things that they could be seriously injured or even risk their lives and die doing, because it's a very serious job being a firefighter. So when we look at courage, courage is being able to not only manage your fears, but be able to work through those fears and get the job done. Courage is being able to go into a burning building, go down an elevator shaft, crawl up a 200-foot tower, and save people. And we really have to have people that can do that on a moment's notice without question. So Dex, it's a little more than just hopping on a truck and looking good driving a fire truck. This is a job that we really have to look at the whole person to make sure that they fit in our organization. So if you think you got what it takes to be a firefighter, by golly, sign up on our website and see if you make it through the process. So Dex, thanks for your question. We're at the newest fire station in Sioux Falls, fire station number 10, built next to a lake. It's a great place to work, dedicated in August of 2006. We're going to go through the station because we have some questions related to that. And one of the first questions is from Diane. Diane wants to know, do firefighters sleep in fire stations if they work 24-hour shifts? And Diane, we're going to go right to that and take a look at this fire station. This is the captain's office. This is where the captain's going to write all his reports. They have computer systems that they can log on to the city internet site, pull off reports from that, and kind of run the day-to-day operations of this fire station. And all our stations always have a captain's office. This station's kind of different because in addition to the captain's office, we have a mini police station. It's designed so that the police officer can stop in during the day, write their reports, if they need to, get on the city internet site, do some surfing, and it allows us to keep the organizations working together and also keep the police officer in his or her territory rather than having to run all the way back to the main station. So it works really well to have these police stations added in. Another thing we try to incorporate in all our fire stations is a classroom, because the classrooms are where things really happen. We open these up to the public. We can do CPR classes. We can also bring all our firefighters from one part of the city in and teach a class so that they can get the latest, greatest stuff on what's going on. And this classroom is great because you can't beat the view of this classroom. The nice thing about this classroom and this station is they're trained for water rescue. Couldn't find a better place than on a lake for water rescue. But Diane, your big question is, what happens at night? What do we do with the firefighters? Well, they work 24-hour shifts, which is a great thing. And within this station, like all stations, we have bedrooms. Now, the crews aren't here right now, so we can kind of snoop around. The lights are a little low here, but what happens is when they have an alarm, all the lights pop up, and firefighters can find their way to their truck. And this is one of the bedrooms, kind of a cozy little shack here. And every firefighter has their own bed, make the beds up in the morning. Some of them have TVs. They don't go to bed till about 10 o'clock at night because they keep busy during the whole day. So there are always tasks to be done, cleaning stations, going on calls. After about 10 at night, most of the firefighters start looking to go to sleep. Now, every time that there's an alarm, all the lights in the bedrooms go up. They get the tones of where they're supposed to go, and then they'll leave from their bedrooms, get their gear on, and be heading down these hallways to the trucks. Moving pretty quick to do that, Diane. So I hope that answers your question. But let's take a look at the rest of the station. We also expect our firefighters to be very fit. They're called to go from sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning to high peak workout rates. So all our fire stations have state-of-the-art fitness equipment. We have elliptical trainers. We have treadmills that they can run on. Weight machines. We just have new state-of-the-art lift machines. The Smith machines, which are great for our firefighters, helps keep them all in shape. And the expectation is that they're going to be working out and doing their best to stay in shape. So we provide everything they need for them in all our stations. Some stations even have gymnasiums. Now, another thing you asked, Diane, is do they eat together? Well, they live together for 24 hours a day, unlike most places. So they live together, they eat together. And we have kitchens all set up because sometimes, depending on where the crew's at, they'll all bring in their food together and they'll whip up a meal. Some stations eat separate, but we have to have cooking facilities for all our firefighters. So this looks nice and clean because the station's pretty new, but they all have kitchens, tables, and then we even have what the old term was the parlor, and that goes back to the 1900s. And this is our parlor where the firefighters can, around about 5, 6 o'clock at night, when they're all done with training, all done taking care of the equipment, whip up a meal, get a couple hours to watch some TV, and then they're on their time to either study or around 10 o'clock start hitting the hay. Now this is our apparatus bay. This is where all the trucks are. We pulled a couple out to give you an idea how large these bays can be. Trucks are getting bigger every year. Got to make sure we got space for them. Now within this station we have a couple of rooms over here that we have rooms that we have compressors to fill if we want to fill air tanks, if we want to fill oxygen tanks. Different stations have different compressor systems, so depending on the needs of that station is what we have in there. So they're all designed for to fit the needs of the department. The other things we also have, just because it's a pretty demanding job, we're always working on different equipment, we have shops to either repair equipment if we have to, take care of the daily maintenance of things. And the station's also designed for our USAR teams, our urban search and rescue teams. To keep those skills up, we've designed anchor points up on the top of the apparatus bay so that crews can practice rappelling down, they can practice climbing up lines, and then this platform is built so they can easily slide right off of that and practice even in inclement weather. You never know when you're going to be asked to rappel down a well or off the side of a building, so that's why setting this up already makes this station just the perfect place to be for those USAR teams. What we do is we also dedicate our fire stations to former firefighters for Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. And this one was dedicated to Captain Kerry McKillop, who died from cancer, and it was deemed by the IAFF, the International Association of Firefighters, that was caused from job-related injuries. So this station is dedicated to Kerry. Kerry was a great guy, always pulling practical jokes on people, everything from putting saran wrap over toilet seats to putting flour in your bed. You wouldn't feel it till you woke up at night and you're covered with flour. So he was always fun to work with, and we lost a great guy when we lost Kerry. I'm with Captain Randy Miller, and Randy Miller is the captain of Rescue 10. Rescue 10 is part of our USAR teams, and these guys are the point of the spear for all the major types of rescues. And this question, Randy, I'm going to give you a trick question. It comes from Jennings, and Jennings is in the military. He's right now in Korea. Hope things are going good for you, Jennings, and we're going to answer your question. Jennings wants to know, can he get all the training he needs to be a firefighter from Sioux Falls Fire Rescue? And I want to ask you, what kind of training do our new firefighters get when they come to you?
Okay, our firefighters, when they are hired, they go through a pretty intense training program at our Sioux Falls Fire Training Center. They are provided with Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 training. We also get into some of the specialties. They'll get hazmat training, some basic awareness, and things that they need to keep them safe. And then they'll also, as we go on in our careers, we provide other training as needed. Now
Jennings asked, and I don't know if he's an EMT, what about EMT training? Because all our firefighters are EMTs. Where do they get that training from?
That training is provided for by the department, but it is outside the department, and we contract for that. And within a year of getting on, they have to be an EMT on the job.
And then over half our calls now are medical, so that's pretty darn important.
It is important.
Well, great. Well, thanks, Randy, and hope, Jennings, that answers your question. This next question comes from Ryan. Ryan's in the military, lives in Sioux Falls, but he's somewhere out in the world, wants to be a firefighter at Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, and by golly, who wouldn't? His question is, how does Sioux Falls Fire Rescue feel about tattoos? And I have with me Kevin Sona. Now, Kevin Sona, father was a firefighter, uncle was a firefighter, grandfather was a firefighter, cousin's a firefighter. We got a whole Sona clan. We're going to have one station dedicated to the Sona clan, I think. Now, has a tattoo. I don't know why he wanted to get a tattoo, but he got one. Our policy says tattoos below the elbow have to be covered at all times. Tattoos above the elbow will be covered by shirts. So basically, we ensure that all tattoos are covered. Any offensive tattoos have to be covered when they're at work, no matter where they are on their body. So Ryan, I hope that answers your question. Remember, we always make long sleeve shirts in case you have tattoos down your arm. Thanks, Ryan. Pop quiz. This is the time to find out if you're going to be a hero or a zero. Pop quiz question. What's the difference between an engine company and a quint company? Answers are A, extra ground ladders, B, more hose, C, bigger water tank, or D, an aerial ladder. The answer is D, an aerial ladder. That question came from Tom in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I have Mark Bukovic with me. He's one of our fire apparatus operators, FAOs, drivers. And Mark, tell us, what's the difference? You're kind of commanding the quint today. What's the difference between a quint and an engine company?
Standard engine company that you see in Sioux Falls has its own water supply with a water tank, 500 gallons. And I got to go on a call.
For truck 6 and 910, 4001 West 41st Street, for code 3 strokes. For truck 6 and 910, 4001 West 41st Street, for code 3 strokes.
Hey, Tom, this is a busy crew. Truck 6 is always on the go. Well, I guess I'll have to answer your question. The answer is an aerial ladder. Now, the difference, they both have ground ladders, they both have a tank, and it has a pump. They both have hoses, and they both have supply lines. The big difference is now we put that aerial ladder on, gives us a multi-purpose vehicle that can be used as a pumper. It can be used as a ladder truck depending on the circumstance. So that's the big difference between quints and regular engine companies, is that huge ladder. On that particular truck that just went out of here, that was a 75-foot ladder. You can get them larger than that, some smaller, but we use 75, and we like those. So Tom, sorry for the inconvenience, but hey, that's life at a fire station. Here's a behind the scenes, a little quick firefighting tip. We shot this from on top of this trailer, and we used this ladder. This is not an ordinary ladder. This is called an attic ladder. And the neat thing about these attic ladders, it folds up. Allows us to get into tight places, mostly attics, so we can get into a house, we don't have a big ladder, and then we can just pop it open, set it up, and we're good to go. Call it an attic ladder, probably because they use it a lot on attics. Nice little ladder, and it's something that you just don't see every day. But by golly, you're seeing it on firecall. One of our most frequently asked questions is about the command vehicles with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. And I have Battalion Chief Jim Jarding with me. And Jim Jarding's been in the department for how many years?
22 years in December.
All right. Took you a little while to get the old synapses.
I had to do the math, you know.
Now, you're a battalion chief, so you're in this car pretty much day in and day out, running fires and commanding major incidents. We want to go through this car and see just what kind of things you have in the car.
All right.
Well, first on the outside, one of the common things is, why do we have a green light?
Well, when we arrive on scene with the Suburban, it becomes a mobile command station, a mobile command center, and when you turn on the green light, it lets people know on scene that the green light is where the command post is, so it's easier to see or find like on a dark night.
So the only green light that would be shining is where the command post is then?
That is correct.
So when we have a whole lot of vehicles on scene, it's pretty quick of who's in charge?
That is correct.
Show us inside.
Well, the vehicle's set up with a mobile data terminal. We have a computer there that tells us we can look and see who's dispatched and what incident they're on, what their location is, and get mapping and those type things. There's a camera set up in here that I can turn on and off as we respond to a scene, and when you get to the scene, so we can get a video record of what's going on scene for reviewing the incidents afterwards. We have the radio unit in the center there with the light controls for the various warning lights and such.
Metro Truck 3, did you have traffic?
And we also carry a automatic external defibrillator that's much like the public access defibs.
So if you're on scene someplace and someone does have a heart attack, we can get that on right away.
That is correct. That's available. I have some map books and maps and technical data information I might need on scene. Kind of a little mobile library, if you would.
Now the back is pretty much chock full of equipment.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Now you have a lot of equipment that you're going to pull out. Isn't this equipment also carried on any other truck?
Some of the equipment is duplicated on other trucks, so in essence we have a spare. There's times where we'll send 1 or 2 units outside the city limits in a mutual aid type response, and I might respond with them, and then I might have equipment with me that they wouldn't have on that particular truck. And also we have equipment on here in case there's a mass casualty incident where there would be 10 or more victims.
And you'd be on scene, we just pull it right out.
We'd be on scene. We have extra equipment that we can use if the need arises. Some of the things we have on here, there's a set of 3 different bags for the mass casualty. There's a green, yellow, and a red bag with different equipment so we can set up different triage areas.
And when we had our 100-person mass casualty, some of the equipment came right off one of these command cars for that, so it does get used.
That's correct. We have a satellite phone. If we respond outside of the city limits in an area where there would not be cell phone coverage, we have a satellite phone capability. So we have a mutual aid hazmat responsibility for eastern South Dakota and some of the surrounding states where we would respond if they requested us.
And plus we're very rural, so
that's right.
You might not have cell phone coverage.
Yep, and then we have the satellite phone for that. There's the heat detector, heat camera, gas detector, got binoculars. This is some more technical information and pens and paper and the type of things we need. If we had to go set up a command post inside of a building away from our vehicle, we can just grab this case and go, and then we have those manuals with us. This is a bag with just all the different vests. If you set up incident command, you have a safety officer, incident commander, operations.
All the different positions that you'd have to have. Right. And I believe also when there is the everything that each position would need, the books and the clipboards.
That's correct. So if we assign somebody to safety officer, we can hand them a clipboard, and they have the information they need. Portable loudspeaker type system. This is an extra SCBA we use when we set up on a fire scene. We set up a rapid intervention team, And
so
I carry,
SCBA is the breathing apparatus that we use to breathe in a fire.
That is correct. Self-contained breathing apparatus. This black bag is for the RIT team, which is Rapid Intervention Team. Whenever we set up at a fire,
We'll slide it out and show real quick.
we could. Whenever we set up at a fire where there's a atmosphere that's immediately danger to life and health, we have to set up a RIT team. And so we have a 2 to 4 person crew set up, and they take this equipment and lay it out, open this up in the front yard. They bring the extra SCBA with them, and they're standing by in case a crew gets in trouble, then they can respond and rescue that crew.
So basically, they don't have to go running around to the trucks, find the equipment they need. It's all right here.
It's right here.
And
That's
your
right.
truck is at every major incident, so we have the equipment all standardized.
Yep. Everything they should need to do a quick rescue.
And
There's a bag with some first aid equipment, just like on every truck. There's a fire extinguisher. I think that about covers it.
well, great, Jim. So you put a lot of miles on this. How is this for working in the snow? We're coming up on winter time. You get pretty good access with this?
Yeah, it's real good. You got some extra weight in the back end with this equipment and this rack, and it's a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and it works very well.
Great. Well, that's Jim Jardine, Battalion Chief of Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, and I hope that answers your questions. Well, this question comes from our youngest viewer that I know of yet. This is from 4-year-old Andrew, and Andrew lives in Plano, Texas. Andrew wants to know, how does the pump work on a fire engine to shoot out water? I have Brian Christiansen. When are you getting promoted officially?
December 4th of this year.
He's going to be our brand new driver. Now, Brian also is a registered nurse. So the guy's just a throbbing brain. He knows everything. And now I want you to explain to Andrew, how does this work? How do you get water in? How do you get water out? And just the basics. I remember he's 4 years old.
Okay. Well, Andrew, each of our trucks or engines carries a water tank on board. This is one of our reserve units. It happens to carry 500 gallons.
And that's located behind all
Yep,
this.
that's located back there. So when we pull up on scene, we have water right away. And the other thing you'll probably notice is this big device here. This is called a keystone. And you also probably notice around your neighborhood and city you have fire hydrants. And what we do is take our 5-inch supply line, which happens to be in the Sioux Falls community, we hook up to our hydrant, and to this, that allows us to have water from our hydrant to our pump.
So the water's coming in right into here.
That's right. Now our pump operates on an impeller. What it is basically a big wheel with vanes in it. Water, and it spins very fast. Water comes in the eye of this big wheel, and as the wheel spins, it gets flung to the outside of the wheel, and it produces pressure so that we can run it through hose.
So it's throwing the water with more force than it's coming in the truck.
Correct. Yep. And that's how we achieve our pressure. And we can control our pressure through engine speed. And to some extent, we have hydrant pressure, we call it, throughout the city of Sioux Falls, has very good water pressure. Depending on where you are, anywhere from 80 to 100 pounds itself, we can then go increase our throttle on our engine and go up from there.
Okay, so you got the water coming in.
Right.
Now, how do you get the water out?
Good question. A lot of times, what we use are, we call these crosslays. This would be, for instance, on a single-family dwelling, a typical structure fire, if there is such a thing. We'll pull a crosslay. This is an 1 3/4 hose.
This is hose, so it fills up.
That's right. We'd pull that off. We'd extend it out, and then the driver would charge the crosslay.
Put water in the crosslay.
Yep, and it's just a valve system. It's plumbing, much like any plumbing that runs water. So we'd pull this, and that would then charge that line, what we call it. There'd be pressure to the nozzle. We'd be ready to
just like
go fight fire.
Turn water on your
very
garden
similar.
hose.
Yep,
Now,
just on a grander scale.
Big fire.
Yep, we have what's called up there a deck gun. It's got a smooth bore nozzle on it, and that basically is a straight stream. So if you could envision a garden hose at its straightest setting, that's similar to what that concept is. This truck will put out 1,500 gallons a minute, which is the equivalent of about 60 bathtubs every minute. And the deck gun would primarily be used for defensive operations, meaning if a structure fire was too hot for us to safely operate in, we could go and surround and drown, we call it, from the outside.
Great. Well, Andrew, I hope that answers your question. And Brian, congratulations on your promotion. You're going to make a great driver. Thanks, Andrew. Welcome to the Fire Institute of Technology. This is where we answer the tough questions, the questions that take a little more than just throwing a pretty face on the screen. We have to delve into these questions and really slather ourselves in the knowledge of the fire service. This question comes from Chance in Sioux Falls. Chance wants to know, how does the process of receiving a fire call happen? Someone calls from home, how does it happen? Chance, this is the time. I'm going to explain this in great detail. And I'm even going to draw you some pictures. What happens is you'll have a person use their phone to call because they have an emergency. This is your cell phone. Key things to remember: what's your location, where are you calling from, and your phone number. You're going to be asked that. It's better to call right away than to wait too long. So you call, and what happens is that call goes to the communication center, Metro 911. This is where the dispatchers, highly trained, thankless job. They're working day and night to figure out what you need, what the emergency is. They're going to receive your call. They're going to determine what units need to go, where do they need to go. And then they will dispatch that over the air. That will go to the fire station. That will also go to the police units, ambulance units. And what we have on the fire station, what happens is automatically the lights will go on. The tones will come off, just like we saw when we were at stations previously. They'll get what's called a rip and run. This will be printing out. The captain can grab this information. He'll know the address, the closest cross streets. He'll have basically all the units that are assigned to that call and any other information that's pertinent that he needs to know. So they'll be en route right away. And then they'll be able to update this information, just like we saw with Battalion Chief Jarding, update it. This is also going up on all the computer screens. So that's part of the process that this takes place. And then the 360 is, we make contact when we get on scene with the caller. Who called in? What's the situation? Sioux Falls has a neat thing. It's called Enhanced 911, E911. And what that means is, worst case scenario, if you pick up a phone and you call and you don't know your address or you can't speak, Enhanced 911 with our Metro dispatchers allows them to see where you're calling from. It pops up on the screen, not only the phone number, but the location you're calling from. So that in a nutshell is how this whole process works. And I hope that answers your question, Chance. Now, if you like the show, you can go on our website, on the back of our t-shirts, www.siouxfalls.org/fire, and you can actually podcast our show. So you can pull it off, throw it on your iPod, watch it anywhere you want, flying across the country, you can watch Sioux Falls Fire Rescue. Also, we do shout-outs. Now, what a shout-out is if you're in a fire department and you want to get worldwide recognition, you send me an email, we'll do a shout-out. Now, this shout-out, of course, you get a t-shirt. This shout-out goes to Jennings. We answered Jennings' question earlier, but Jennings wanted a shout-out for his old department, Murdo, South Dakota Fire Department. So, Jennings, that's going out to you. Hey, I had a great time doing the show. We answered a lot of your questions. If you do have questions, get on our website, fire those questions off. We're looking for really good questions. And as you can see, some of them will just about use anything. If we use them, we'll send you a t-shirt. Wear it proudly, represent Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, because firefighters are the cream of the crop. They are the salt of the earth. They're the pillars of society. Well, I hope you had a good time watching the show. I sure had a good time filming it for you. My name is Division Chief Jim Sedaris, and you've been watching Fire Call.